Welcome back to Star or Shovelware, hope you're all doing alright. My name's Luke, and today on the channel we're going to be taking a look at Cover Fire, a free-to-play third-person shooter where you get to play as a squad of elite soldiers embarking on operations to take down the bad guys, using machine guns, sniper rifles, rocket launchers and other tech. Now this one released on Android and iOS in 2019, and being a free-to-play mobile game, that means only one thing. You guessed it, in-app purchases and loot crates. But how invasive are these in the Switch version, and is the game worth your time? Well, hit that like button, subscribe for more Switch content and reviews, and let's find out. So when the game first begins, it just drops you straight into the action, taking you through a tutorial stage, and there isn't much of a storyline to start with. As you work your way through the campaign mode though, you'll get snippets of a plot fed to you in the form of comic strips, and I thought these were quite cool, but I did feel that by the time you've made your way through the missions and get to see the next comic strip, you've likely forgotten what happened in the previous one. From what I've seen, there's also no way to re-watch these comic segments without replaying the level in which they were displayed, and so the story just ends up being pretty throwaway, which to be honest is quite unfortunate re-watching them, as the plot seemed to have at least a little bit of intrigue to it. So being a mobile port, you can expect the gameplay in this one to be kept pretty simple, predominantly to cater for the limitations when it comes to control schemes on phones. In the first few levels of the game though, you're given a chance to get to grip with these controls, which basically consist of aiming with the right thumbstick, shooting with the trigger and reloading with the Y button, and your character will duck behind cover automatically whilst not shooting, which prevents you from taking any damage. The cover however will take damage and eventually break, forcing you to move to the next available cover using the right thumbstick, but if there isn't any then you'll start losing health, which eventually results in death. Now as you get further into the game you'll unlock 3 different active perks, which can help you out if you're in a bit of a pickle. The first of these is a health pack which fully restores your health, the second a stim shot which puts you into slow-mo for around 10 seconds, and the final is a grenade which can be thrown to kill off enemy soldiers and deal damage to larger enemies. In each of the levels though, you'll have a set of objectives to complete, and these include things like completing a level within a certain time limit, getting a certain number of headshots, completing the level firing a limited number of shots, or destroying vehicles or other machinery in levels, and for the most part these are not too tough to complete. Now if you're able to complete all of the objectives in a level, your reward will be to open 5 card packs, which grant you a variety of items including cash, energy, active perks, gold bars and passive perk cards which we'll get onto shortly. Failing any of the objectives though will result in you only being able to open a couple of the card packs, with the rest requiring you to spend gold to open. Now the gameplay itself is pretty simple but nonetheless enjoyable, especially if you're looking for something to play casually an hour at a time. The first chapter will see you unlocking 2 new characters, those being a sniper lady and a dude with a rocket launcher, and level variety itself is also reasonably decent, with you mainly playing as the default machine gun guy with the odd sniper or rocket launcher level thrown in for good measure. From what I've seen, the design of the levels isn't too bad either, having you fight through courtyards, from the back of vehicles and along the top of a train, and while admittedly the combat is kept simple and levels only last around a minute at most, you do get the odd boss fight, and enemies come in a variety of different forms. Now the campaign mode is comprised of 13 different episodes, and going by the first 2, each of them contains around 12 missions. In order to actually play a mission you have to spend an energy point or 2 for boss fights, which regenerates over time, with additional energy points rewarded from cards and levelling up. But here's where the in-app purchases come in, as levels also have a recommended power level which slowly increases. Your power level can be raised by acquiring passive perk cards and then levelling them up using cash or gold, but the higher the level the more they cost to improve, and you also have to wait out a timer, which again can be skipped by spending gold, which I might add is this game's premium currency. Now up until about the end of chapter 2, I didn't really have any issues increasing my power, but then it suddenly bottlenecked, requiring an additional 20 power from me, and the greater the difference between the recommended power for a mission and your own power, the harder the mission becomes, with the game actually buffing enemy health and damage whilst reducing your own. Now there are a number of different things you can do to actually increase your cash and gold resources and earn additional passive perk cards. You can replay previous missions to unlock additional card packs and try and obtain all stars in them to obtain a bonus card crate, whose cards also include new characters and weapon skins. You can also obtain a crate for free every so often once a timer counts down, or alternatively you can make an in-app purchase and buy some gold, which can then be used to buy crates, with each crate having a specific drop rate for certain items. Now in addition to these, there are also daily missions you can complete to earn additional golden resources, and then there are the special events which appear to run daily, with the current one being a zombie event which rewards you with gold for your effort, and eventually a couple of new characters. So all in all, there appears to be quite a few different ways to earn resources and currency in the game, including the premium gold currency, but it nonetheless wants to push you towards making a purchase, especially if you're wanting to unlock new characters or weapons which provide boosts to your damage and health. If you're going to play the game casually for a few hours at a day, I'd say that Cover Fire is a decent little shooter with some simple but enjoyable gameplay. But for those looking for something to grind hour after hour on, you're not going to be able to really do this without having some deep pockets and a healthy bank balance. So visually then, Cover Fire actually looks pretty decent on the Switch despite it being a mobile port. The resolution of the textures aren't too bad on the characters and environments, and I particularly liked the final slow-mo kill cam, which I thought was a nice little touch. Audio wise, we get some standard actiony music to play through the levels with, and the sound effects are also pretty decent, so all in all not too bad on the audio and visual front here. Now when it comes to the game's performance on the Switch, it runs pretty well with very little issue, and being a mobile port you'd kind of expect it, though the game did freeze up for a few seconds on a couple of occasions for no apparent reason. Issues wise, I've already mentioned the progression bottlenecking, which I suppose is just something that you're going to have to deal with if you don't want to buy any premium currency to speed things up. But aside from this, the only other issue I experienced was with the comic strip cutscenes, which bugged out and stayed on screen whenever I replayed a mission containing them, and I just had to guess where to click to get to a loading screen. When all's said and done though, if I'm being totally honest, Cover Fire isn't the worst free-to-play game on the market, and its in-app purchases don't appear to be too invasive, at least not at this point in the game. It's relatively fun, if not a little samey from level to level, but it's perfectly alright for a casual game, and while I'm not actually going to be rating it in this review, I'd go so far as saying it's definitely better than some of the other games that I've purchased on the Switch this year. And so that about does it for this review of Cover Fire on the Nintendo Switch. Make sure to hit that like button if it helped you out. If you've played the game, let me know your thoughts and opinions on it in the comments section below. And as always, if you want to support me and the channel, then please consider subscribing. For now though, I just want to thank you all once again for watching, and until next time, take care of yourselves and game on.